Welcome back to the Stoic Journals, and take a deep breath. And let's be honest for a second. Have you ever caught your reflection in the mirror and wondered, am I still attractive? Do people even notice me anymore? You don't say it out loud, but it lingers. Somewhere between the bills, the stress, the grey hairs and the quiet nights, you start to wonder if your best days are behind you. But here's the truth most men never hear. Attraction doesn't fade with age. It matures. When you were younger, attraction came from energy, looks, and charm. Now, it comes from something deeper, the kind of calm confidence that only experience can shape. You've walked through storms, you've built, you've failed, you've risen again. And all of that has created a presence that can't be copied. Today, we're diving into 8 proven signs that you're far more attractive than you think. Not because of money, muscles, or status, but because of the quiet power that lives in you now. And if you watch until the end, you'll see why women, and people in general, are drawn to men who have learned to move through life with purpose and peace. So before we begin, tap that like button if you believe confidence gets better with time, and comment one if any of these signs sound familiar as we go along. Ready? Let's begin, because your best version might already be here. You just haven't recognized him yet. Sign number 1, younger people respect your presence. Have you noticed how when you enter a room, something quietly shifts? You don't raise your voice, you don't compete for space, but somehow people pause, they glance, they listen. It's subtle, but it's real. Younger men might start watching how you carry yourself, how you speak with patience instead of pressure, how you don't need to interrupt to be heard. They sense that calm, and it makes them slow down too. And women, they notice it even faster. They lean in a little when you talk. Their tone softens when they speak to you. It's not just what you say, it's the weight behind your words, that quiet authority. It's the mark of a man who's lived enough life to stop performing. You've been through wins and losses, heartbreak and healing. You've learned when to fight and when to walk away. That experience creates something powerful: presence. You no longer chase attention because you've learned that real attention doesn't need to be chased. It's drawn in by stillness, by certainty. See, the world is full of men trying to be noticed, talking louder, flexing harder, proving endlessly. But you've discovered that confidence doesn't shout, it radiates. And that's why people, especially the younger ones, respect you. They can't always explain it, but they feel safer, calmer, more focused when you're around. Your presence tells them, this is what stability looks like. And here's the secret most never learn. True attraction doesn't come from noise or effort. It comes from peace. The kind of peace that says, I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it. That's your quiet power. That's your draw. And it's one of the clearest signs that you've become a deeply attractive man. Sign number 2, your eyes speak more than your words. They say the eyes are windows to the soul. But as you get older, your eyes become something even deeper. They're not just windows, they're stories. Stories of every lesson, every loss, every victory you've lived through. There's a calm behind them now, a steadiness that didn't exist in your younger years. They no longer burn with the fire to prove, but glow with the warmth of a man who already has. When people look into your eyes, they sense something. They might not be able to name it, but they feel it. Pain, wisdom, peace, all living quietly behind your gaze, because a man's eyes change with time. The wildness fades, and awareness takes its place. You stop looking at people and start looking into them. You don't stare to dominate. You observe to understand. You're not trying to take energy from anyone. You're simply present enough to notice it. And that's what makes your gaze magnetic. When your eyes meet hers, something subtle happens. She pauses. She feels seen, not scanned. She feels safe, not judged. Because your eyes no longer seek approval or conquest. They offer understanding. That single difference is everything. It's what separates maturity from desperation. It's what turns interest into trust and attraction into connection. You don't need pickup lines or charm. Your eyes already say it all. I've been through life. I know who I am. I see you. Not just your face, but your energy. And when a woman feels seen like that, she doesn't just notice you. She remembers you. Because mature attraction isn't loud. It's quiet, intentional, and deeply human. That's why your eyes, without a single word, can speak volumes that youth never could. Sign number 3, you smell like discipline, not perfume. Sign number 3, you smell like discipline, not perfume. As you grow older, you start to understand something that younger men often miss. It's not the brand of your cologne that matters. It's the energy behind it. Because scent, real, lasting scent, isn't just about what's on your skin. It's about what people feel when you walk away. You've learned that the small things aren't small at all. Clean clothes, a crisp shirt, a fresh shave, or a well-groomed beard. Simple, subtle, intentional. They tell the world something powerful, that you respect yourself enough to show up with care. Your scent isn't just fragrance, it's discipline. It's the quiet message of a man who values order in a chaotic world. The man who folds his clothes, who irons his shirt, who keeps his shoes clean, not to impress anyone, but because he refuses to live carelessly. That kind of discipline carries an invisible fragrance, a scent of purpose, of focus, of control. And people, especially women, can sense it, even if they can't explain it. She might say, "You always smell nice," but what she really means is, "You always feel put together." That's because scent, at its core, is memory. It stays long after you've gone. And when your presence smells like effort, cleanliness, and quiet confidence, it lingers, not just in the air, but in her mind. Because real attraction isn't loud or flashy. It's subtle, controlled, intentional. You don't spray to be noticed. You prepare to be remembered. And that's why when people describe you, they might not remember the exact cologne you wore, but they'll remember how complete you felt. That, brother, that's what it means to smell like discipline, not perfume. Sign number 4, people come to you for guidance. Have you noticed how people, friends, co-workers, even strangers, seem to open up around you? They start sharing things they don't tell others. They ask for your thoughts, your advice, your perspective. It's not because you talk the most, it's because you listen the best. You've developed something most people have forgotten how to do, to be fully present. You don't rush to give answers. You don't interrupt to sound smart. You just sit there, grounded, steady, and you hear them. And that calm attention, it's rare now. We live in a world where everyone wants to be heard, but few want to truly listen. You've learned that listening isn't weakness. It's a quiet form of strength. It takes control to stay silent when others are loud. It takes confidence to let someone else speak without needing to prove a point. And that's exactly what makes people trust you. Your stillness becomes safety. Your silence becomes wisdom. When you speak, it's measured. When you give advice, it carries weight. Not because it's perfect, but because it comes from experience, not theory. You've lived enough life to understand that not every battle needs fighting, and not every emotion needs a reaction. That calmness, that emotional stability, is magnetic. Women, especially, pick up on that immediately. It tells them, this man understands life. He won't panic under pressure. He won't crumble when things get hard. That kind of reliability is rare, and it's deeply attractive, because attraction at its highest level isn't about looks or status. It's about trust. It's about the feeling that says, I can breathe easier when I'm around this man. So when people keep coming to you, not for entertainment, not for attention, but for guidance, that's not coincidence. That's the world quietly recognizing your strength. You've become someone others look to for clarity, and that, my friend, is one of the clearest signs that you've stepped into mature, magnetic masculinity. Sign number 5, you move with intention. Have you ever noticed how the most confident men don't rush? They don't fidget. They don't chase motion. They move with purpose. Every step, every gesture, deliberate. Watch the way you walk, sit, or even pour your coffee. Slow, steady, grounded. That's not laziness. That's control. You've learned the art of masculine stillness. It's that quiet kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself. You don't have to perform anymore. You don't need to exaggerate your laugh, wave your hands, or fill every silence. You've realized that presence isn't about how much space you take up. It's about how calmly you occupy it. The truth is, movement reveals the mind. A rushed man is rarely centered, but a man who moves slowly, intentionally, that's a man who's in command of himself. You walk into a room and people feel something they can't explain. It's not what you say, it's the way you move. Your shoulders are relaxed, your steps are unhurried, your gestures are minimal but meaningful, and that simplicity communicates one thing louder than words ever could. I belong here. That's not arrogance, it's certainty. And certainty, true, quiet certainty, is magnetic. Women notice it immediately. It's the difference between a man who's trying to prove himself and a man who already knows who he is. You've stopped trying to impress. Now you express. Your energy says, I'm comfortable in my skin. I trust my pace. I move on my own time. That energy makes people relax around you. They mirror your calm. Because presence is contagious, and you've mastered it. So the next time you enter a space, remember this. You don't need to fill the room with noise to be felt. All you need is to move with intention, because the world is drawn to a man who's certain of himself, even when he's silent. That is the essence of mature masculine magnetism. Sign number 6, you find humor in yourself. There comes a point in every man's life when he stops taking himself too seriously, and that shift, that lightness, is one of the clearest signs of maturity. You laugh easily now, even at your own mistakes. You stumble, you forget, you get it wrong sometimes, and instead of frustration, you smile. That's not weakness, that's strength, because it takes power to laugh at yourself. It takes security to admit, I messed up, and then move on without shame. You see, when you were younger, you might have tried to be perfect, to protect your image, your pride, your reputation. But as you've grown, you've learned something far more valuable. Real confidence doesn't fear imperfection. When you can laugh at yourself, you're showing everyone, without saying a word, that you're comfortable in your own skin. That you don't need to win every moment to feel worthy. That's called emotional intelligence. It's the quiet wisdom that says, I know I'm not flawless, and I'm okay with that. And that mindset does something powerful to the people around you. It relaxes them. It gives them permission to be real too. Women especially feel it right away. They can sense when a man carries peace instead of pressure. They can sense when laughter isn't forced, but free. When you can joke about yourself, you remove the need for perfection. You create space for authenticity, and that makes people feel safe around you. Safe to drop their masks, safe to be human, safe to laugh again. Because laughter, in its purest form, isn't about humor. It's about connection. It says, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to enjoy this moment with you. And that is magnetic. You don't use humor to hide pain or to compete for attention anymore. You use it to bring ease, to bring warmth, to bring lightness into heavy spaces. That's why when you laugh, people join you, not because they have to, but because they want to. So yes, you laugh easily, even at yourself. And that's not immaturity, that's mastery. The kind that only comes when a man has finally made peace with who he is and who he's not. That kind of man doesn't just attract others, he inspires them. Sign number 7, you don't chase, you choose. There's a peace that comes with time, a quiet shift that happens deep inside a man when he finally understands his worth. You've stopped running after attention. You've stopped chasing approval. You no longer need validation to feel valuable. You've learned that peace will always be more powerful than popularity. When you were younger, you might have tried to prove yourself through achievements, status, or the approval of others. You wanted to be seen, recognized, appreciated, and that's normal. Every man goes through that stage. But somewhere along the way, you realized something profound. All that chasing only left you tired, because every time you ran after something, you were running away from yourself. Now you've grown still, grounded, certain. You've learned to let people come to you, not out of pride, but out of understanding that what's meant for you doesn't need to be forced. You no longer chase energy that doesn't match yours. You don't beg for attention. You don't compete for affection. You simply choose what aligns with your peace. And ironically, that's what makes you stand out. While everyone else is shouting to be seen, you stay silent and steady. And the room notices, because there's something magnetic about a man who doesn't need to prove himself. He's focused, he's calm. His standards are quiet, but clear. He's the kind of man who doesn't get distracted by noise because he's too busy building peace. And that calm confidence, that subtle certainty, draws people in without effort. They wonder why they feel safe around you, why they're drawn to your silence more than someone else's performance. It's because your energy says something their hearts can feel. I know who I am. I know what I want, and I don't need to chase what isn't mine. That's what real confidence looks like. Not arrogance, not indifference, just clarity, and the discipline to stay aligned with it. Because you've discovered the truth that most men never will. A man becomes most attractive the day he stops trying to be. That's when your words soften, your movements slow, and your energy deepens. You're no longer performing, you're being, and that stillness, that self-trust, is what the world can't ignore. You don't chase anymore, you choose. And in doing so, you've become the man every version of you was trying to become all along. So, now that you've heard these signs, pause for a moment. Take a breath. How many of them did you recognize in yourself? Maybe more than you expected. And that's the point. You see, attraction was never meant to fade with time. It was meant to deepen, to shift from surface to substance, from noise to quiet power. Brother, you don't need to chase youth to be magnetic. You need to own your season. Every scar you carry tells a story of resilience. Every line on your face speaks of lessons earned. Every mistake, every victory, every heartbreak, they've all shaped the man you've become today. And that man, the one who's calm, wise, grounded, he's not past his prime. He's becoming it. Because your charisma doesn't come from trends or tricks. It comes from truth, your truth. The patience you've learned, the discipline you've built, the humor you've kept, the peace you've fought for. That's your magnetism, that's your edge. So stop comparing yourself to who you were and start respecting who you are now. You're not fading, you're refining, you're not losing attraction, you're commanding it in silence, with certainty and with heart. Now tell me in the comments, which of these signs felt the most real to you? Which one reminded you of the man you've become? If this message resonated, hit like, subscribe, and turn on that bell, because here we build men who lead with peace, who love with strength, and who walk through the world with quiet confidence. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, stay strong, stay calm, and stay grounded, because your best chapter isn't behind you. It's just beginning.